Okay, so I am just starting to understand what North Node in the 8th house really represents. I have this placement myself, and I don't know, maybe it depends how your South Node in the 2nd house is like. Mine is South Node in Sagittarius, 2nd house, and I have a full 2nd house. I have so many planets there. So it depends which planets you have, I think. But in my experience, as somebody with the South Node in the 2nd house, North Node in the 8th house, having South Node in 2nd house, which is like the Taurus house, it's going to be somebody who grew up basically most grew up with a life like entered this life mostly with a focus on the material world, whether it was your choice or not. Maybe your family like always took care of you financially. Or displacement could also mean like you had to work really hard by yourself to like get these things. So that's why like the material world is like important for you in your life. So it could either mean like you were given these things easily through inheritance, or you had to work really hard by yourself for it, and now you're just like overly consumed with overimportance on the material world. It could be one of these ways. For me, it was just given to me. And if you study the 2nd house, you'll understand that it's also about like beauty, the physical world, food, luxury, pleasure, relationships, self-worth, self-value. So like, but if you have your South Node here, it means this life wants you to go more towards the 8th house, which is more deeper than the physical 2nd house. So like this person might have had an overimportance on the physical things, whether it was beauty, their self-worth, but like based on it physically. Like this manifested for me as like I used to overly care about my appearance because what other people would tell me like when I was younger. um I loved to overspend. I love nice things, nice clothes. I love delicious food. Like this can also mean maybe you have a problem with food because like I used to have a problem with food, and I have South Node and 2nd house. And yeah, like overeating, overspending, like overindulgence on these things of life. But with the North Node being the opposite, this life wants us to go deeper. It wants us to go more towards the 8th house, which is like deeper intimacy instead of just physical intimacy. Because I used to go through that too when I was younger. I would like only have those type of meaningless things in my life, like only physical, surface, shallow things. So the 8th house wants us to have deeper soul connections with people, with somebody, like a deep soul connection with somebody, to go more towards spiritual things, to go more towards the occult or like hidden knowledges like that, to go more towards experiences, deep experiences, deeply meaningful experiences, instead of just the physical, like meaningless things, like going more towards things that we can take with us when we die. Like we cannot take our money or car or house or anything when we die. So, but like you can take your experiences or your very deep connections with another person, which could deeply affect you forever till after you're dead. The North Node is more about caring about what's deeper and letting yourself go, letting, even if you lose everything, like usually I feel like I have lost everything before, and I heard that this relates to this placement, so I think it's true. But when I lost everything, it actually helped me go more towards like gaining other things, which is like deeper, more meaningful things, which is more beautiful and lovely to me now than anything else, than money or physical security and comfort. Like, yeah, no, we need these things, but there's more deeper things in this life, and people with North Node in the 8th house, that's where we're supposed to go. The deeper, we have to go deep. And when we follow our North Node, things get easier in life because we're aligning more with the universe's, like what the universe wants for us and the energy. like we're aligning more with the universe's like energy harmoniously for what it wants for us. It will also depend what planets you have, if you have any in your North Node 8th house. I have Saturn there, which represents maturity, um, like lessons, restrictions. So, it can also connect to career. So I'm still curious about what it means. But for me, I think it means like it wants me to be more mature in this area of my life and work through it, not against it, and learn the lessons from it. And for me, the eighth house is just so important for me to go towards, and I think I feel happier now that I accept it instead of fighting against it, instead of holding so deeply on to the physical material things that I've been used to holding on to forever, like my appearance, like food and like money and my possessions. I feel so much more free just letting all of that fucking go, and I think, and it feels kind of scary because you're not used to it. Like you're more comfortable in your south, so the north it could feel a little scary, but it also feels good at the same time. The more I go towards it, it feels scary, and also the eighth house is pretty scary. Um, it's really hidden. It can relate to like our trauma and like secrets, but the north node here feels nicer and does feel better to for me to go toward instead of staying so comfortable in the second house physical world. Um, it feels more deeper and like lovelier and mysterious and scary, but like in a good way, like thrilling. Like I'm just so curious about it. But anyways, if you have North Node in the eighth house, you're meant to go after deeper things in this life. Let go of the physical material things and overvaluing like it's kind of like this north node axis reminds me of like you changing your values, because like the second house is about values, physical values, self-worth. The eighth house is, if eighth house is about values, it's going to be about deeper values and the values you cannot see or touch or buy. um so it's kind of an axis of changing your values from physical material to the deeper spiritual and meaningful and soul connection values, like very deep care values. It's just so much nicer and deeper, and I don't know how else to explain it because this house is pretty mysterious and hidden and curious, and um but this is as best as I can say it, is embrace the deeper things of life. Don't be scared of it anymore, and life will get better for you. Peace out. I also forgot to say that this North Node is also about giving more instead of just only getting. So, yeah, and from my experience, that was true. I've always been used to always getting, like, or being given. But this North Node is more about giving to others, like, stop holding on to so much, like, the material things, or physical things, or shallow things, and go more towards giving yourself to somebody, but not like necessarily physically, like more on a deeper level. Or just giving things more to others, and also like only spending on things that you need instead of just overspending on like stupid things. Like basically only spend money on when you need to, on things you need to have, not like anything too much more than that.